Are Coventry City going to be returning to the Championship top 6 this coming season? Get involved right away in the comments before I have my take. Let me know your thoughts. We'll put a poll up on the community tab of the channel as well. You can vote over there and let me know your thoughts on Coventry, who had a little drop off last season after going so close 2 seasons ago. Playoff final, extra time, penalties, sudden death. And it was the greatest story never told, wasn't it? We were either going to be talking about the remarkable rise of Coventry City all the way up the EFL and into the Premier League, but in the end, we were talking about the remarkable rise of Luton Town, who beat Coventry in that final. And we know what happens to a team that's brilliantly built and just misses out. They have to sell their best players, don't they? Out went Gyökeres to Portugal. He's done amazing. Out went Hamer to the Premier League, to Sheffield United. He's going to be back this season in the Championship. Are Coventry going to be back in the playoffs? It was a bit of a drop-off, as I say, and a bit of a transition season. And honestly, I think you can explain away the mitigating factors for Coventry last season. Look over there. First, the amount of players Coventry had to bring in to basically rebuild their team after that extreme rise right up into the playoffs, after barely kind of a cup of tea in the Championship. Was it their 3rd season? I can't remember exactly, but as soon as they were stable in the Championship, they were in the playoff final, weren't they, Coventry? Incredible stuff. It's not just the number of players. Look at the players that had never been in English football before there. Hadji Wright is jumping off the page. Milan van Evik. Victor Torp, yes, he came halfway through the season. Tatsuhiro Sakamoto. As well as players that hadn't been in the Championship before. The likes of Liam Kitchen sort of stepping up from Barnsley. Bobby Thomas and Ellis Sims had been at other clubs and loaned out. Finally, they're going to settle at Coventry. You can see why it took a while at the start of the season for the team to click. And honestly, you can see why at the end of the season, FA Cup carnage kind of caused the drop-off, didn't it? All eyes were on the cup. And I hate to say it, Cov fans, Wembley heartbreak again, wasn't it, with that VAR call in the FA Cup semi-final against Manchester United. And I was all over this as an Ipswich fan last season, looking at the fixtures, because Ipswich had to go to Coventry right late in the season. We knew the game was going to get postponed because of the FA Cup, and in the end, Coventry just had a ridiculous schedule, didn't they? And I think the white flag was raised, easy for me to say, by Coventry towards the end of that season. And it was a freak season. I've said it a million times on this channel already, and I think when you look in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, last season is going to look ridiculous, isn't it? So, will it be an easier ride for teams like Coventry trying to go against the parachute teams this season? I think it probably will. It is not normal for the 3 year 1 parachute teams to all deliver as powerfully as they did last season. And let's be honest, the points total, Southampton 87, Leeds 90, Leicester 97. Those points totals, even Southampton's, normally get you automatic promotion. That's before you've thrown in the freak season of Ipswich coming from League One to score 96 points as well. It was just crazy difficult at the top of the Championship. Ergo, Leeds got 90 points and didn't get promoted. Is it going to be that hard next season? I don't think it is. And it's no disrespect to Burnley. I mean, they got 101 points last time they were here. Sheffield United and Luton. But surely, I can't do the maths quickly on 97, 90 and 87. Surely the combined total and the combined wins and the combined carnage caused by the 3 year 1 parachute teams is not going to be the same as it was last season. And again, no disrespect to Oxford and Derby and Pompey. Don't see any of them scoring 96 points as well, which should open it up really for the likes of Coventry City next season. I think the other thing that bodes really well for Coventry is I think they're going to be better than they were last season. I think there's good stability, and I think a lot of the players are at a good age and of the kind of requisite Championship experience to have got their feet under the table to go ahead and deliver now really big style at Championship level. Liam Kitchen came in, as we mentioned, he's 24, played 32 games last season. He's ready to go. Bobby Thomas, he's 23, played 49 games last season. Milan van Evik. There might be some bids for him, I wonder. A kind of European right wing back there, 23. Also played the thick end of 50 games last season for Coventry. Ben Sheaf, I'm sure they're going to get some big bids for Ben Sheaf. He's only 26. He's coming up 150 games for Coventry. Are they all in the Championship? I don't think he went there in League One. I think he's only been there in the Championship. I could be wrong about that, but so experienced and so good at Championship level. And then goals. Goals win your football matches. Goals win your playoff places and promotions. Do you need a 20-goal striker when you've got two 19-goal strikers? Both Haji Wright and Ellis Sims got themselves 19 goals last season. And let's be honest, for the first few months of the season, they were bedding in, weren't they? They weren't really ready to go, and certainly not pairing up in the same team in the way they finished the season for the first 3 months of the season. A lot of positives in terms of players who were at Coventry last season who were going to be there again this season. I must make mention of a couple of people who aren't going to be at Coventry next season, who were there last season, and this is, you know, in lieu of maybe big bids for Ben Sheaf or Milan van Evik. Callum O'Hare will not be at Coventry next season. He's going to be with Gus Hamer at Sheffield United. Let me know whether that weakens them badly. And Adi Vivash as well, the long-time assistant to Mark Robins. He is going to be gone. I think sometimes people do overplay the role of assistant, like some golden silver bullet or whatever you want to call it. Like, oh, it's all down to the assistant, blah, blah, blah. And frankly, people don't really have the foggiest idea what their exact role is because it's different at every club. But what I do know is that Sam Parkin knows a hell of a lot about Adi Vivash because he knows him personally on the Championship check-in. We've spoken about this before, and that will be a loss for Coventry. We'll find out how much of a loss. Let me know in the comments. What does the market say? Those are the odds to get into the top 6 in the Championship for next season right now. And look, Sheffield United aren't there. Incredibly, you've got Leeds as the favourites to be in the top 6 and presumably to win the league. They are completely odds on. Burnley are even money, one of the Year 1 parachute teams. Luton, the other Year 1 parachute team. And look, there are Middlesbrough and Coventry. We'll talk about Middlesbrough maybe on another deep dive video. But two sides that were defeated in the playoffs 2 seasons ago and had a bit of rebuilding to do last season. West Brom under Carlos Corberan are there as well. The market says Coventry will be in the top 6 next season. What do I say? I like it. I like it a lot. You can argue it very straightforwardly that Coventry have the most stable management other than the assistant going, but in terms of Mark Robins, he's been there through League 2, League 1 and the Championship and took them all the way to extra time in the playoff final a couple of seasons ago. Always strong recruitment at Coventry. I'm sure there'll be the lad from Peterborough's name's escaped me, Ephron Mason-Clark. That's going to be an addition this season. Look, I do think there'll probably be one big money sale, but you wouldn't back against Coventry to turn that into a couple of players coming in and improving the squad and the first team as a whole. So great continuity. And I'm sorry, 9th place is not a bad springboard. If you're in a season in transition and you're only 3 places below the playoffs, then go figure. You've only got to be 3 places better the following season to get in there. And maybe I'm overblowing it. Surely it's not going to be as difficult. And I'm not talking about the top 6. I'm talking about the top 4 now. The top 4 was crazy hard in the Championship that Coventry were in last season, which kind of boxed off teams like West Brom and Coventry and Norwich, who are going to be going for the playoffs this season. So I think it all bodes well for them to be in there. But it's not all about what I think, is it? Why don't you have your say down there in the comments? And as I say, I will put a poll up really simply saying, will Coventry be in the top 6 next season? Yes or no? You let me know. And take a look over there because I'm enjoying doing these deep dives. They've had good feedback, good comments, and you will see a deep dive on the 2 Sheffield clubs. Sheffield Wednesday, who are going to be a bit of a dark horse, possibly, next season. You can debate that in the comments on that one. And Sheffield United, maybe crisis averted with some deals done in recent weeks.